Hello, this is the fourth part in the Lightact and Unreal Engine integration tutorial series. In the previous parts, we've explained how to enable the necessary Unreal Engine plugins that you need in order to make this integration work. We've created the Lightact project that you see here that sends the texture to Unreal and then receives the texture back. And we've created the Unreal Engine project which basically takes the texture from Lightact and sends it back to Lightact. In this tutorial, we'll explain how you can send variables from Lightact to Unreal. We'll start by opening Devices window and creating a JSON sharer. Great, and we'll call it vars to UI. Perfect, and we'll click streaming. Now we'll create a new layer. We could have created this functionality in one of these two layers, of course, but let's just, for the clarity purpose, create a new layer and name it vars to UI. Perfect. Now what we'll do is create a shared memory sender node. Now this node is it basically sends a variable to, it writes a shared memory variable to shared memory, which is then read on the Unreal Engine side. So in this tutorial, we will create a float variable and name it, let's say, angle, float angle. Perfect. And before this will work, we have to send the parent device, which in our case is JSON memory sharer 1. And let's make this variable change a bit. So we'll create a sine wave. We'll create a float reader node. Okay, and we'll connect it. So now you see that it works. So let's change the amplitude to 45 degrees. And frequency to 0.2, so it is a bit slower. Perfect. That's more or less everything that we need to do in Lightact side, on Lightact side. So let's go back to Unreal. Where is it? This one. Okay, so what we will do is we'll try to, if we run it, you see that we have a Perlin noise texture here that is sent from Lightact. And by the way, this flicking only happens if Lightact doesn't have focus. When Lightact is having focus, this flickering doesn't happen. So let's stop it. And what we'll do is we'll rotate this screen, this display or this plane, based on the variable that we get from Lightact. So let's open the level blueprint. Here we have the nodes which we created in part 3 of this tutorial series. And these basically take care of the spout receiving and spout sending on the Unreal Engine side. Okay, so what we'll do is we create a sequence node, so the things are a bit clearer. Straighten, and let's create a reroute node. Perfect. Now what we'll do is we'll create another reference here and we will add local or rotation and set. I think relative rotation is what we want to do. And let's move it a bit here. And we connect it. And we click this and we click make rotator. Perfect. Now we go back and we see which one do we have to. Okay, so the yaw has to be at 90 and we'll rotate X based on the variable that comes from Unreal. So let's open the level blueprint again and we set this to 90. Perfect. Let's just click play to see if this is working. So okay, it's not rotating, which is great. And if we, let's say, type 45 degrees, Where is it? Now this message says that the mobility of this plane is set to static, so we have to set it to movable, which is done here before you can actually move it. Great, so let's click play, and now it rotated to 45 degrees. Perfect. Now what we have to do is we have to get the variable from shared memory and connect it to the X float input of the make rotator node. Great, so let's connect it here. And handle name has to match whatever is written in Lightact, which is this thing here, handle name vars to UE. So let's type it here, vars to UE, and handle size also has to match this number here, 1024, sorry, 1024. Okay, so what this does is it writes all the shared memory variables to string map of strings to strings. So what we need to do is we need to find the variable which in Lightact we wrote it under the name of float angle. So I'm going to copy this and say float angle. Okay, now I'm gonna, just to be sure, create a branch, and if we find it, we convert it to float. Or actually, to be even more sort of on the safe side, we make another branch here, and only if we manage to read the shared memory, we try to find it. Okay, and we connect this here. So what we created is this. To repeat, first we try to read the handle name vars to UE. If we successfully read it, we try to find a float angle inside that string map, and if we manage to find it, we convert it to float and then change the rotation of the light spout display to whatever we got from Lightact. So let's click save, let's click play, and now you see that it is rotating based on what's happening in Lightact. Just to be sure, if we make this much faster, now it's faster.